Good morning, everybody. It's so lovely to see you. It feels like a very long time since I saw you coming down that drive, and that was just wonderful this morning. I hope you've had a good rest, and I want you to put your hand up if you have eaten any chocolate in the holidays. Teachers, I know you should have your hands up as well, most of you, I think. So we're going to start our time together with a peace be with you. Oh, thank you. I could hear that brilliantly. And I'm going to ask you today to check in with the flowers. So which flower is you? I'm going to go with flourishing because that flower's got a smile on its face. I'm looking forward to the summer term. There's always lots of lovely things happening. And in fact, I'm going to start by telling you something lovely that's happening this week. So on Thursday, we've got a farm coming to visit us. So you are all going to be able to visit the farm, which is just a real treat. And we will be able to touch the animals, and they've got it all set up ready for us. So I know that if any of you have got any allergies, don't worry, you don't have to touch the animals, but we're going to be looking forward to seeing the animals anyway on our school field. Now I'm going to start by just having a thought about this gentleman. Some of you will have definitely heard about Prince Philip on the news, and it says rest in peace there. And I've lit my candle. I've got my candle here because I thought that it would be a really nice opportunity as we're back at school, and Prince Philip, the husband of the Queen, he passed away. He died during the Easter holidays, near the beginning of the Easter holidays, and then we've had some special memorial services for him, and our church has been doing lots to support people. And then he had his funeral at the weekend, and I watched that on the television, like I'm sure some of you did, or some of your mums or dad, certainly some of your grandparents, and if you've got any great grandparents, I would imagine that they would have watched it. I know my nanny watched the funeral, and she has a lot of time for our royal family. I wanted to share this picture with you because it's my favourite picture. That's the Queen there on the right hand side, and that is actually her husband, Prince Philip, and he played a prank on her. So I thought you guys would like that because you like a prank, don't you? So when she came back to Buckingham Palace one time from being away, she was probably at Sandringham, one of her other places, he pranked her by dressing up as one of the guards and sort of making her jump or saying something, and look at her face there. So I just thought that was a lovely moment, captured between two people who seem to love each other very much, and obviously will be thinking of the Queen of England as she carries on without her husband. They were married 73 years, which is an awful long time. So we can hold her and anyone else that needs us in our hearts this week, as well as starting our new term at school. I've got a few other things to talk to you about today, but I'm going to start with a story. Because I noticed, it's called Each Kindness, I noticed that by the end of our term, some people were finding it a little bit harder than perhaps they normally do to be kind to one another. I think we were all a bit tired. I know myself and Mr. Yates were very tired, and I know some of the teachers were very tired. But I think that sometimes when we're tired, people can annoy us more, and then things get more challenging, more difficult in our lives. So that might happen to you at home. It might happen to you when you're at home. People might start to annoy you a bit more. It's usually brothers and sisters at home more than anybody. And in school, it might be people in your class that maybe aren't your friends particularly. So in our school, we have our values, don't we? Our kindness, our honesty and respect. So even if someone isn't our friend, we respect them and we're kind to them. But I just noticed that a few people were struggling. I don't know if you remember before Easter. So I wanted to read you this story just to get you thinking. I found this story online. I like looking at stories online, and it really made me think about when I was at school And when sometimes I wasn't as kind as I hope I am now, because it didn't seem as easy when I was little. So it starts off, it says, that winter snow fell on everything, turning the world a bright white. So it was a bit like the snow that we had a little while ago. One morning, as we settled into our seats, the classroom door opened and the principal, that's the head teacher like me, came in. She had a girl with her and she said to us, "This is Maya." Maya looked down at the floor and I think I heard her whisper hello. We all stared at her. Her coat was open and the clothes beneath it looked a bit old and ragged. Her shoes were spring shoes, not really meant for the snow, and a strap on one of them had broken. Our teacher, Miss Albert, said, "Say good morning to our new student," but most of us were silent. The only empty seat was next to me. That's where our teacher put Maya. And on the first day, Maya turned to me and smiled, but I didn't smile back. I moved my chair, myself and my books a little further away from her. When she looked my way, I turned to the window and stared out at the snow. And every day after that, when Maya came into the classroom, I looked away and I didn't smile back. My best friends that year were Kendra and Sophie. At lunchtime we walked around the schoolyard, our fingers laced together, whispering secrets into each other's ears. One day, while we were near the slide, Maya came over to us. She held open her hand to show us the shiny jacks and tiny red balls she'd gotten for her birthday. "It's a high bouncer," she said, but none of us wanted to play, so Maya played a game against herself. That afternoon, when we got back into the classroom, Maya whispered to me, "Bet you can't guess who the new Jacks champion of the world is." Behind me, Andrew whispered, "Chloe's got a new friend, Chloe's got a new friend." "She's not my friend," I whispered back. The weeks passed, and every day we whispered about Maya, laughing at her clothes, her shoes, the strange food she bought for lunch. Some days, Maya held out her hand to show us what she had brought to school. A deck of cards, pick-up sticks, a small tattered doll. Whenever she asked us to play, we said no. Oh, it's tricky, this one. The days grew warmer and warmer. The pond thawed. Grass began growing where snow had once been. One day, Maya came to school wearing a pretty dress and fancy shoes, but the shoes and the dress looked like they belonged to another girl before Maya. "I have a new name for her," Kendra whispered. "Never knew. Everything she has comes from a second-hand store." We all laughed. Maya stood by the fence. She was holding a jump rope, but did not come over or ask us if we wanted to play. After a while, she folded it double, rolled the ends around each hand and started jumping. She jumped around the whole schoolyard without stopping. She didn't look up once. She just jumped, jumped, jumped. The next day, Maya's seat was empty. In class that morning, we were talking about kindness. Miss Albert had brought a big bowl into the class and filled it with water. We all gathered around her deck and watched her drop a small stone into it. Tiny waves rippled out away from the stone. "This is what kindness does," Miss Albert said. "Each little thing that we do goes out like a ripple into the world." I think that's something we could do in school, isn't it? Then Miss Albert let us drop the stone in as we told her what kind things we'd done. Joseph had held the door open for his grandmother. Kendra had helped her baby brothers change her baby brother's diaper. You can tell this is Australian or American now because that's a nappy. Even mean old Andrew had done something. "I carried teacher books up the stairs," he said, and Miss Albert said it was true. I stood there holding Miss Albert's rock in my hand silently. "Even small things count," Miss Albert said gently. But I couldn't think of anything, and I just passed the stone along. Maya didn't come into school the next day or the day after that. Each morning I walked to school slowly, hoping this would be the day that Maya would return and she would look at me and smile, and I promised myself that this would be the day that I would smile back. Each kindness, Miss Albert had said, makes the whole world a little bit better. Oh, it's so sad. But Maya's seat remained empty. One day, Miss Albert announced to the class that Maya wouldn't be coming back. Her family had moved away. Miss Albert said, and then she told us to take out our notebooks, and it was time for spelling. That afternoon I walked home alone, and when I reached the pond, my throat filled with all the things I wished I could have said to Maya, each kindness I'd never shown. I threw small stones onto it over and over, watching the way the water rippled out and away, like each kindness, done and not done, like every girl or boy somewhere holding a small gift out to someone, and that someone turning away from it. I watched the water ripple as the sun set through the maples, and the chance of a kindness with Maya became more and more forever gone. I had trouble reading that one because it really makes me think. I hope it does you too, because I know that we can't always be kind, but really and truly, that poor little girl. And I don't even think that those children realised the impact, so the effect that they were having on her. That everything we do here has an effect over here. So if we are somebody that isn't asking people to play or is being unkind sometimes, it will always have an impact, and sometimes even on our own hearts. So I really wanted to read you that story because I thought it was just so cleverly written. And then I found a little piece of music, and I'm going to play a little piece of music so we can just have a little bit of time. I've got my candle here too, a little bit of time of reflection. And in the Bible it says, do good, lend and expect nothing in return, and your reward will be great. That's in the New Testament, and Luke said that. But what Luke also talks a lot about is loving your enemies. And although we don't have enemies as such in school, we do have people that we don't get on with as well. And what that means is, if there are people in your class that you don't get on with as well, then you still need to do those kind things and expect nothing back, particularly if they're people that struggle. So some people struggle to behave in a way that might work for you or for me, but they can't help it, so we have to always be kind. So I'm going to just pop a little bit of music on just for a moment, a little bit of time for us to be still. Just a little bit of time for thinking. Something else now I'm going to talk about. So, something completely different. Thank you for listening so beautifully to my story. But here it says, take responsibility, responsible dogs, and pride in your work. So we are going to sort of pretend it's September again, like a new school year, because we've had a rocky old road lately, haven't we? We've been in school, we've been out school, then we've had holidays, and we're back to school, and we need to really get on track with our learning, and we need to make our books better than they have ever looked. Okay, so what I want you to do, and I definitely want to see lots of work, I'm going to be having a look in the books at the end of the week. I'm going to, myself and Mr Yates are going to try and nip into the classrooms, obviously with our auntie back, and make sure that we have a really good flick through the books and we pick up on anybody that needs a little bit of help with this. So take responsibility and pride in your work. So I really want you to think about this, guys. I really want you to think about your handwriting. I want you to think about underlining things, making sure that everything has got a date and a learning objective. Sometimes your teachers are really kind, they write them for you, that's fine. If they've got them on bits of paper and stick them in. I want your books to look beautiful, so absolutely no doodling. I'm going to be showing off these books to lots of people. So I want you to really take pride, so no rushing. Okay, no just getting the job done. So really making sure that your books look great. And the next thing I want you to think about is capital letters and full stops. So I really want you to make sure that you are remembering your capital letters and full stops. Now obviously year 6, I do expect you to get some question marks, exclamation marks and anything else in that you are used to using in terms of punctuation, but I do want everybody, and you year 6, because we noticed that some people had forgotten how to do this, to use capital letters and full stops in their writing. So when you do a piece of writing, guys, and you'll be getting your great ideas down, you need to just go back and check, has each sentence got a capital letter and a full stop? The tricky thing is knowing what a sentence actually is. And when you're little, so maybe in year 2, I know a lot of you know what a sentence is, but it's harder to remember. So just keep looking. You can ask friends to look for you. Is this a sentence? Does this make sense? Does it have a beginning and an end? And is it got all the bits that it needs in it? But most important, does it have a capital letter to show it's the beginning and a little tiny full stop to show it's the end? So I want you to remember that. And then I've got something else to show you. Who spotted this morning? Who spotted it? Oh, I know, it's exciting. I'll tell you a funny story about this. I was very excited when I got to school yesterday because we decided, year 6, this was all down to you. So year 6, you said to us when we talked about presents for the end of term, so in July, you said that you would like to get us a slide. So myself and Mr Yates had a bit of a chat and we said, well, it's a shame for them to buy us a present and then leave. It would be nice if they got to use it too. So we decided that we would get you a slide. Now the trouble is, we bought it online and we didn't measure it. So it's a great slide, but I tried to go on it yesterday morning. The first thing I did at 7 o'clock yesterday morning was try and go down this slide, and guess what happened? You're right, I got stuck. My bottom was too big for the slide. Now, I don't think I've got a huge bottom, but it was too big, and I think that we bought a slide that is a little small. So apologies now if anyone can't fit down the slide. I'm just going to say, because I really don't know, because we're all different shapes and sizes, and I thought I would be able to fit down the slide and I couldn't, so that was rather embarrassing. So I got some people to test it out for me, and I've heard it's a great slide, so don't worry. Now with the slide, we do need to take it in turns, obviously, and we need to be sensible about how we're using it, because not many schools have slides, because there's all the health and safety. You've heard about that, haven't you? We have to be really good with health and safety. But I like to be brave and I like you to have fun things. So I wanted us to have a slide, but I need you to be sensible about it, because if we start having lots and lots of accidents, then we'll have to say, ooh, hasn't worked, we can't have the slide. So take it in turns. You'll just wait for each other to have a go. Don't have people on the steps all together, so kind of just make sure you're hanging back. Just be really sensible about using the slide, and don't go up the slide. You know, I know I've done it myself. it's fun, isn't it, to run up the slide, but don't, because there'll be people coming down the slide, and if someone's going up the slide, down the slide, crash, okay, and that's not going to work either. So I just need you to walk up the steps, sit on the slide, whiz down the slide, and hopefully you can have lots of goes on it, because with you only being in your classes, it's a bit easier, isn't it? So it is on that side of the playground. So if you are on the other side, we've got all new grass underneath the big climbing frame, so you'll be able to go on there, and then you'll get your slide time next week. So you've got to wait, which is tricky, I know, but I know you can do it. Exciting stuff. Oops. Ooh, where's my next slide? Oh, it's interesting. It's disappeared. There's my slide before, and my slide after has completely disappeared. Never mind. Oh, that's a shame. It was a really cute little cat. I don't know what's happened there. Imagine a really cute little cat having a prayer, because it is time for our prayer. I don't know where my slide has gone. It's just totally disappeared. So imagine a cat praying, and you can help pray if you'd like to with me, and we will just spend a moment together. Dear God, thank you for everything. Thank you for our new slide. Thank you for getting everybody back to school safely. Thank you for helping us to think and look after our Queen, and thank you for helping us to think about kindness. Help us to keep doing all of the things that we know that you want us to do. In your name, Amen. Thank you guys. Have a super duper day, and I will look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.